Kamusta po? 1 second lang. Labas lang natin ang mga beautiful. Para sa bayan. Yan lang. Mag-load.
Kumasa ang
Ay, mag-load to guys. Wednesday na. Dito na lang. Para sa bayan. Ano nangyari sa atin dito? Nangyari. What happened, Vela? What happened, Vela? Okay, ito na. Mag-UFC na tayo. Let's get the ball rolling. Booyakasha. Booyakasha, booyakasha, booyakasha. Saan ka na? Hanapin ko na lang yung account ni Kristan. Baka meron dito sa kanyang Twitter. Hindi lumalabas sa Twitter ko. Siyempre gusto natin, ano tayo? Tawag doon. Fair and balanced. Okay. Ayan na. Kamusta naman kayo dyan, mga kameta? Ako po si Richard Haydarian, yung backup slash undercard fighter sana. Wala namang instructions kung purely boxing ito or may mixed martial arts. Pwede naman i-mix yan, di ba? Hindi ko na, yung mga Jake Paul events ba, di ba? May pagka-mix-mix nila nangyari. But, you can have boxing sa main event, tapos yung co-main event. Ayoko na undercard. Gusto ko co-main event. Sana nag-ready naman tayo. Nakita niyo naman mga moves natin. May nag-comment pa. Nag-times 4 daw yung speed na ginawa ko dun sa video. Inedit ko daw. I'll take that as a compliment because that was exactly the speed by which I released the 45 kicks. Balitan natin yung mga kaibigan natin na ibang vlogger dyan na medyo dad bod na. Ay medyo nagka-comment daw dun sa ating mga SIPA and all. As I said, more than happy to demonstrate yung power ng mga kicks natin. But also the speed, di ba? With the speed comes power, but more importantly, it's the full technique. And also, alam na natin this guys, wag naman natin ano yan. So anyway, dito naman in fairness mo ang tumama naman si Sir Ronald Llamas kasi kahapon, nakakantsawan kami because as you know, and I've said this on the record, I always thought na when it comes to Dutertes, sometimes, not always, sometimes baka naman, diba? Especially when they're cornered, especially feeling nila na, na kailangan nila magpakita ng gilas. Once in a while, nagpapakita ng gilas. At komportable ako na, na digong babalik siya from Hong Kong noon, di ba? Yabang-yabang di ba? Sabi niya, upakan ko yung mga ICC na yan, di ba? Sabi niya, kung mga ICC na yan, gusto niya akong yari, anuin ko sila, di ba? Yabang-yabang, di ba? Kahit doon sa Hong Kong. And then the next thing you know, nung hinuli na, hindi niya na masabi na Rodrigo. Anyway, so sabi ko, baka naman, like father, like, actually, nga, okay. Dalawang version yung ganon, di ba? One version is, pag na-corner sila, magde-defy sila. And that's exactly what Digong did. Kaya nahuli siya, dinala sa ICC. Alright? At ngayon naman, nagmamakaawa na may interim release. Doon sa case na yan, I said, don't underestimate yung power of defiance. Yung defiant streak ng mga Dutertes. At doon, mali si Ronald at tama ako. Pero kahapon naman yung pinag-usapan natin itong issue na to, si Sir Ronald was really convinced, and I suggest you guys check yung latest episode na update natin. He was very convinced na magbaback out din yan. And I was wondering, like, bakit naman magbaback out yung isa? Mas bata siya, cornered siya. Ito yung chance niya maging... alam mo naman, di ba? Para magpakitang gilas, maglabas ng mga the moves dyan, di ba? At kung talagang matapang ganon, this is it, di ba? What is there to fear from fighting someone, I don't know, 15, 20, 25 years your senior? But it looks like, in this case, yung BUDOL style ay medyo similar din. So it cuts in both ways, Yung like tatay, like it cuts in both ways. One, in terms of yung bragadocho, yung yabang, but also it works in terms of yung budol. Pag hinamon mo, tapos tinapatan mo, biglang magbaback out. And in fact, the first person who mentioned yung ganyan style nila is, na-analyze talaga sila ng buti, is someone with a military background. This is, of course, Senator Trillanes. Sabi niya, ay, ano lang mga yan, pag yabang-yabang yan, pag inano mo naman, magbaback out din yan. Anyway, so as it stands, I'm trying to bring out yung video kanina. Hindi ko malabas dito sa isang phone, hindi ko alam bakit. Try natin ilabas dito sa kabila. Well, mukhang biglang may conditions na naman na weird, 'di ba? We were hoping na at this time, 'di ba? At this time medyo clear na tayo, may mga lumabas na mga videos, 'di ba? Lumabas na mga videos ng mga preparations. Akala ko yung mga yung mga pinos, yung mga stock video siguro yan, sabi ko, tapos nag-collage lang yung mga tawag doon, sabi ko siguro nag-collage lang yung mga vloggers, yung mga trolls nilagay nila to make it look. But mukhang legit pala. Mukhang legit talaga, nagte-training talaga, lalo di ba? Talagang nag-training talaga Nag-training talaga di ba? Training talaga. Kaya natin baka mag-copyright tayo. So, alam mo, in fairness, that when I was looking, to be serious, in fairness kay basta, yung reaction time niya is not bad. At saka yung combo niya, not bad. Malakas naman, maganda yung job. Talaga nag-UFC analysis tayo. Si General Torre naman, in fairness yung stance niya, parang really preparing to fight against a taller, bigger guy, no? Kasi obviously, guys, medyo hindi lang malayo yung edad, medyo malayo din ng, bata pa naman pareho, pero medyo, I think BASTE is almost 6 foot tall? So, medyo may difference din in terms of height and all. So, kung titignan niyo yung stance ni General, talaga mag-analysis tayo. Si General Torre yung stance, alam niyo yung, I don't know if you have watched yung mga katulad ni, Narmegedov, 'di ba? Si Khabib, 'di ba? Si Khabib Narmegedov. Ang style niya is yung overhead na yung overhead punch na ganun. So usually that really helps you when you're up against someone who's either faster, younger, or taller. So in fairness naman kay syempre joking aside, minsan tinitingnan ko, baka naman totoo 'yun. Baka seryoso talaga maglalaban sila. So tingnan nga natin kung may technique sila. Kung kay Basta naman, in fairness, okay yung reaction time, yung accuracy okay, maganda rin yung jab niya. No, not bad, in fairness. Kay General Torre naman, obviously, 1, 2, 3, 1, tapos makita mo, medyo kaya niya i-follow through, di ba? Anyway, so that's why kanina sabi ko, baka naman talaga seryoso ito. Actually, in fact, Until now, hindi tayo sigurado 100% kung talaga makancel ito or may tutuloy ito. Hindi pala tutuloy ito sa Araneta, pero tutuloy ito siguro sa ano daw, sa Rizal Memorial. Anyways, old video ba yan? Old video yung kay Baste? O nga, no? Medyo hindi ganun si Baste. Medyo mas fit pa siya dyan, no? No, but well, at least you have the basics. 'Di ba? Even if medyo old na, well, you still have the basics, 'di ba? In fairness. They're not bad, not bad. I'm looking at the moves there. Now, I would have thought na, well, I mean, why not, 'di ba? Why not coconut, 'di ba? Mukhang both have basics. In fact, may nakita ko mga, siguro we can ask Janitor later on. May mga nakita tayo mga reports na from yearbook niya, etc. It looks like Janitor really had a boxing background. Like he knows his basics. But ito, may tail of the tape. Oh, di ba? May tail of the tape pa nangyari. Talagang para may pagka-Elon versus Zuckerberg ito. Pero, ang interesting. So, surfer politician versus policeman, Davao mayor versus PNP chief, 37 years old versus 55 years old. Okay, so almost dalawang dekada. Orthodox po yung style niya, yung fighting style. Southpaw naman si actually General Torre. In fact, and I'll say Southpaw sometimes actually have certain advantages if ever they go angular punches and all of that. Having said that, ang kagandaan naman ng kay General Torre, and dito talaga agree tayo kay Senator Trillanes, swerte talaga tayo with someone like General Torre, because let's be honest, guys. Let's just be seriously honest about this. General Torre took a lot of risk by making patol dito sa kawalang kwentang hamon na yan, di ba? Yung parang anyone else would have said, this is beneath me, this is parang against your dignity, this is this is not worth making patol to. This is not worth basically your saliva, diba? But in fairness naman, tingnan mo kay General Torre hanggang ngayon, siya, talagang decidido siya na I really hope na may tutuloy yan, because in fairness kay General Torre, ang galing nung niya, the way he reframed the whole issue is, okay, if gusto mo ako i-challenge, hindi ako takot, let's go, let's do it. And guess what? Let's make something good out of this. Gawin natin charity event ito, 'di ba? Para makatulong din tayo dun sa ating mga kababayan na apektado dito sa mga palpak na flood control projects. 'Di ba? Baka pwede mo pa idikit 'yan, 'di ba? Baka yung kabila pwedeng yung shirt niya brought to you by itong company na gumagawa ng flood control project dun sa syudad nila, or yung mga malalaking company na nag-flood control project na paano ni Tatay Digong, baka pwede mag-sponsor din, 'di ba? No, but kidding aside, I'm trying to bring out this one. So, nevertheless, I was just saying, who knows, baka matutuloy. In fact, what I liked about it is General Torre was actually also very realistic about his limitation. Sabi niya, na aminado naman siya, base doon sa konsultasyon sa kanyang coach, na he doesn't have the speed anymore, 'di ba? Yung kanyang cardio is not there anymore, 'di ba? Yung kanyang power is not there anymore. So, even if he he may have been a champ for years, maybe champion siya nung panahon na nag-aaral pa lang siya, clearly the speed is not the same, the power is not the same. At yun ang gusto ko kay General Torre, aminado pa siya na talagang he's not at his peak, he's past his peak, but nevertheless handa siya. And tingnan mo niyo na, napaka-fit naman ni General Torre. In fact, naalala niyo kay Rendon pa yan yung no rice challenge. I mean guys, when was the last time we had a PNP chief na ganyan ka-fit, di ba? He may not be at his peak in terms of speed and power and all, but look at how fit he is, 'di ba? Kung yung iba sabi na, 'di ba? So this is what I like. Parang point na underdog siya, because he's not at his peak anymore. He's gonna fight if ever someone is way taller, bigger than him, and way younger than him, almost dalawang dekada yung difference. But he's willing to do that because gusto niya ipakita na hindi siya na-intimidate. At gusto niya ipakita na hindi siya atras sa pangbubuli. At gusto niya ipakita na he's willing to serve as a role model. At gusto naman niya, most importantly, gawin tong event na to, itong spectacle na to, into a kind of a fundraising event. So, in fairness, if you look at it from a communications positioning standpoint, General Torre has played this brilliantly. Because nung una parang, Sure ka ba dyan? I mean, like, are you okay about this? And then eventually you saw no less than former PNP chief Panfilo Lacson saying that he's willing to pay yung lahat ng isang pension niya sa isang buwan para naman mapanood niya itong event na to kung may ticket talaga. So I don't know kung if ever magkaroon ng event na to. Kasi parang bilis di ba? I think you have to have some time to prepare for this. But if ever tuloy talaga ito at i-prepare nila at may ticket, mukhang handa magbayad ng VIP ticket. Mga katulad ng PNP Chief Lacson. So, the fact that you have people like Senator Lacson coming out and saying, yeah, patulan na natin to, kung gusto nila, that means they're seeing something, guys. They're seeing really something. And for me, guys, ang mahalaga ito, this is really, really, really important because, it tells something about the nature of politics sa ating panahon, right? Na when you're faced with people whose brand of politics is just trolling and pangbabastos and all of that, just remaining silent and taking the punches is not the way forward. And if anything, i-jiu-jitsu mo yan. You turn it into your own advantage. Sabihin mo lang, hindi lang na matapang ka, sabihin mo din na handa ka to go all the way, and sasabihin mo rin na you're willing to even help people and make an event out of this. Diba? Dati nagpa-debate pa tayo ng foil lang naman yung isa. But we made a charity, napunta pa sa mga kabataan dyan sa Marawi back in the day. I'm happy I made something out of that. So, sometimes if you're gonna put on what many could see as a spectacle lang, at least you turn it into something positive. But, ito yung response talaga ng I just felt was like, naku, may fake account pala kay Krista.
Matagal ko na talaga gusto makabugbog ng unggoy.
Diba? Ang bastos, diba?
Huwag ka mag-alala, Torre, kasi matagal ko na talaga gusto makabugbog ng unggoy. Kung gusto mo lang talaga ng suntukan, bakit kailangan mo pa mga charity? Why do you need kailangan mo pang gamitin yung nangyayari ngayon? Nabaha dyan sa Metro Manila. If you're really serious about this, kung gusto mo yung charity na yan, and you've laid some conditions, then let me lay my own conditions for the event. Kung serious ka talaga, these are my conditions. Pakiusapan mo yung amo mo na presidente, and let it come out of his mouth.
Sige na nga, patulan natin.
Conditions. Pakiusapan mo yung amo mo na presidente, and let it come out of his mouth that all elected officials
Bastos,
should
diba?
undergo a hair follicle drug test. Papalagan ko yung charity mo na yan. Walang problema. If it will answer the
Walang problema. Para sa hindi ko ganun magsalita.
issues nitong bansa natin, I can do that. Huwag kang mag-alala, Torre, kasi matagal ko na talaga.
Medyo bastos, diba? More than that, anong kinalaman ni BBM dito sa issue na yan? Diba? So basically, he was just trying to insult General Torre and really, bastos talaga yung pag-insult niya. You're talking about the PNP chief, you're talking about someone na actually may utak, medyo nag-aaral, medyo may alam sa buhay. Sana naman, konting respeto. May tao na actually may sariling achievement sa buhay. Hindi lang dahil lang anak siya ng isang politiko or trapo ay nandun sa lugar na yan or nasa pwesto na yan. But anyway, why not? I mean, ganito na lang. Kung drug test, edi go. Edi mauna ka. Edi mauna sila mag-drug test. Pa-drug test natin lahat ng mga yan, di ba? Hair follicle test, isama niyo pa si Bato, di ba? Para kompleto na ano na tayo lahat dito, masaya na tayo. I'm sure si General Torre will have no problem whatsoever doing any kind of drug test or anything like that. But I'm happy to see our friends doing the drug test first. Hair follicle test, si Bato na lang mauna para kompleto na lang tayo and all, di ba? So, talagang non-sequitur. I mean, anong kinalaman ni BBM dito sa issue na yan? Unless, lahat ng mga pangbabastos kay General Torre is because inis tong pamilya na to, nangyari sila ni BBM together with people like General Torre. Ito yung mga tunay na tigre na sa paligid ni General Torre, di ba? So, what I'm saying here is that I'm not sure they're coming out of this quite strong because medyo sablay, to be honest. I'm sure it plays to their crowd and whatever. But General Torre comes out of this very strong, right? Basically, ang point niya is, wala akong pake, let's go. Kahit mas bata ka, kahit mas malaki ka, let's go, let's do it. Walang problema. Gawin pa natin favorable pa ito sa taong bayan, tulungan pa natin yung mga tao, etc. At ako si General Torre, sabihin ko, sige, drug test, tara, tayo muna. Bago natin idama yung ating presidente dahil nasa US pa, busy pa, at pauwi pa lang at naghahanda na sa zona, mauna tayo. Kung hindi mo si Bato, mag-hair follicle test, ikaw mag-drug test, tignan natin ano ba yung mga tattoo natin dyan. Lahat tayo, gawin natin para masaya, di ba? Dapat ganon. So I'm waiting for that 1-2 punch response by General Torre. Dapat ganon. But guys, on a serious note, no? What is the lesson here? There are a couple of lessons here. So, naalala ko for a long time, guys, yung mga followers natin, may mga iba dyan na concern. Sabi nila, Richard, huwag mong patulan mga yan, huwag kang sumagot, huwag mong sayangin, be above the fray, etc. At ako, guys, matagal na, guys. Okay. Let's be nice, guys. Okay, let's be nice. Okay, huwag nyo na idamay si Barbie or si ano. Okay, let's be nice. No, honestly, going back to this. Alam mo, naalala ko for a long time sinasabi ng tao, huwag mo na patulan yung mga ganyan, you're above this is beneath you, mga ganun. Sabi ko naman, okay, if ikaw, hindi ka magaling mag-trash talk, hindi ka spontaneous, hindi ka, quick thinker or kaya makipagbardagulan, yes, I think, huwag kang sumagot. But, if you're spontaneous enough, you have something good to say, and most important, you're on the right side of history, at alam mo tama yung ginagawa mo, let's be honest, guys. Sa panahon ngayon, strength is seen through the lens of defiance. So usually, unfortunately, di ba, ito yung propaganda eh. Pag parating binubugbog ka sa kasinungalingan at kabastusan, pag wala kang sinabi, actually you look weak, if not guilty. Unfortunately, that's how things work. Because of the physics of information system na meron tayo, because of virality, because of social media, because wala na yung mga guardrails in terms of respectability and norms of behavior and norms of practice. And most importantly, since pumasok itong mga Duterte na to, itong mga Budol family na to, sa ating national politics, completely nag-transform, guys, yung rules of the game natin. So, you cannot do it in the same way. I mean, just look at it. The Dutertes don't even bother to enter any debates. Si Sara Duterte kahit isang debate, kahit yung SMNI debate na kunyari lang debate, hindi na pinuntahan. So basically, they're dictating the terms, the coordinates, the guardrails, the horizons of political communication. So, in that situation, kung ikaw ay mag-stick lang dun sa conservative traditional position, which is wag natin patulan, magpabugbog lang tayo online sa kanilang mga kasinungalingan, kasamaan, actually, you look weak. Now, if you have the spontaneity, kung kaya mo mag-return, uno reverse, diba? Kaya mo mag-post ng resibo, gawin mo yan. Kailangan gawin. In fact, more people should do that. In fact, it shouldn't be just General Torre. More people should do that. Diba? More people should come out and say, wait lang. Sino ka ba to say this and that? So, for instance, just to give you an example, diba? The other day, ina-attack si BBM na bakit 1% point. Yeah, 1 percentage point. Kasi may mga sabi, no, actually, it's 5% kasi it's 1% of 20%. Yeah, but I think everyone who bothered to see the reference point, alam naman nila what we're talking about. Oh, wait lang. Kaon pa yung fan na to. Wait lang. So, going back to this. Sorry lang. Going back to this, ayan na, may nakipag-ano pa dito sa atin. Going back to this, so we live in a situation whereby you cannot leave it to the other side, right? To dictate the terms of political communication. You have to fight back, right? And as much as possible, you also have to question. You have to question yung credibility ng kabila. So, going back to dun sa issue ng 1%, 5%, whatever ni BBM, yes, I already gave my explanation about why the situation was not ideal, but also why it was not disastrous. And then, you don't stop there. You don't just explain. You also go on the offensive. Ang sasabihin mo guys is, wait, ano ulit tong kinuha ni Tatay Digong sa China? Dun sa 24 billion pesos na pinarong sa China, makanong pumasok? Diba? You push back. And you question their their position of argument. You question whether ano bang credibility mo to even make an attack or question like that. So dapat ganon, 'di ba? And then isa pang napansin ko, kung ikaw ay palaban, people are willing to fight for you. The more you fight for yourself, the more you hold your ground, the more you get people's confidence, the more you inspire people. In fact, ang dami kong nakitang tao na even if hindi sila agree kay Senator Trillanes, or hindi sila agree, or hindi nila type si Riza Ontiveros dati, or hindi nila gusto yung ginawa ni General Torre, for instance, kay President Duterte, supportive pa rin sila sa mga figures na yan because they appreciate, guys. They appreciate yung palaban spirit nila. I think, so basically, the first thing is, guys, because of virality, because of the social media age, unfortunately, yung idea na you just silent mode lang, no response, etc. Unless meron kang sariling troll farm at PR company, you have to fight back and you have to do it on yourself. Number two, this is very, very important. You also have to make sure na hindi i-dictate ng other side yung terms of debate, yung horizons of communications and contestation. That's very, very important thing to keep in mind. Guys, wait lang, na-distract ako. Ang dami nangyari dito sa likod. May mga ano rin. So, nasan tayo? So that's the other thing that we have to keep in mind, guys. And then, so first, you question the credibility. Second, you fight back. But third, you have to inspire leadership. You have to inspire leadership, guys. Sometimes you have to roar like a lion and keep the hyenas away. It's very, very important. At ako, in my own little experience, napansin natin throughout the years, the more na palaban tayo, the more na spontaneous in Uno reverse natin, the more na we push back and we hold the line, the more na nakita natin may mga followers tayo. Kaya dito sa mga pages natin, platforms natin, bugsarado yung mga trolls. The moment na magko-comment sila dito, well, iba yung troll farm operation. Of course, alam niyo na isang month na troll farm operation tayo, na twisting words natin sa Human Development Index, whatever. Okay, noon medyo may time na konti na medyo, ano tayo na troll farm tayo ng gusto. But overall, 99% of the time, yari yung mga trolls dito sa mga pages natin. Bakit kamo? Because we have all of these mga kametas and mga ka-deep divers at mga supporters natin, naniniwala na hindi pwede to. We have to guard the space, right? We have to keep things in line, right? And we have to also hold the fort. So, that's what I appreciate about what General Torre is doing here. He's reminding everyone that huwag kang magpa-intimidate at huwag kang pabastos. At if mayabang yung iba, na alam mo naman hanggang salita lang, dakdak lang, ay amunin mo and then expose mo. Ngayon may condition pa naman, hindi mukhang ewan tuloy. You expose them, you confront them, you draw the line, and then you always bring it back to the point, which is, sige, gawin natin yun, pero para sa interest ng tao. Gawin natin yun para tumulong sa mga tao. So, I think for me, this is what we have to pay more and more attention to, guys. Basically, what are the lessons we should learn from the meteoric rise of people like General Torre? And I'm sure General Torre is just one among many, many people out there, guys, who is willing to hold the line. So we have to find these people, we have to support what they're doing, and we have to learn from them, guys. It's very, very important to learn from them. So I know marami dyan na nagsasabi na, wag mong patulan, let's just be pa-decente, mga ganun. Hindi na mag-work yan, guys. We're way past that point. But you can be bardagulan, you can push back, but at the end of the day, if you're clear to your core values, if you're clear to what you stand for, and at the end of the day, alam naman tao na deep inside, you're fundamentally a dignified and strong person, panalo ka pa rin. Panalo ka pa rin. So in short, bawal ang duwag, bawal ang pakit lang, bawal ang diffident, diba? Kakainin ka ng buhay. This is the kind of information space we find ourselves in, right? And the other thing I would add is jiu-jitsu. Mga trolls ngayon, ang dami mga trolls nagko-comment. Go ahead, thank you. Push up our engagement. The more you comment, the more you engage, the more magsi-circulate, the more viral, the more our message will go out, and the more you're helping me. So you also do that, guys. You use it to your own advantage, right? The more na inatak ka, you push back stronger, you level up until mag-back down yung other side. Escalation domination, right? That's also one way of doing it. Kaya sabi ko, guys, hindi na mag-apply yung mga communication skills, yung mga PR na ginagawa ng tao back in the day. Ang hanap talaga ng ating taong bayan, guys, nowadays is a decisive leader or decisive leaders, palaban ng mga tao, because for what it's worth, I think klarong-klaro sa lahat ng ating mga kaubayan na hindi na sapat yung traditional politics. And when I say traditional politics, hindi lang yung mga trapo politicians na kurakot. Obviously, you never need something like that. That's evil. But what I mean also by traditional politics is yung lahat scripted, piliin mo lang sino magpa-interview sa'yo. Siyempre, ayaw mo yung mga... may mga nagsabi, bakit si ganito, ganyan, hindi mo in-interview? Ako, my invitation was always open to all of these people. They know it. I even messaged them. Pero mas pili nila, mag-Tony Talk sila. Pag pili nila, love na love natin yan kay si Mama OG. Sige, if that's your thing, go ahead. Good luck. But my point is, hindi tayo magle-level up if you're not willing to engage in not naman adversarial, but, real talk. Real talk. So, because napansin ko, ang habol ng tao nowadays is real talk. Tsaka people get things done and people are willing to fight the good fight. Right? That's why every time I have General Torre, every time we have Senator Trillanes, every time there's a topic about Rizal Tiveros, nakikita ko kahit yung mga tao na ayos sa kanya, they're responding. Why? Because yun ang hanap natin mga leaders ngayon. Decisive leaders. Right? Yun ang hanap natin mga tao na palaban. And it's because naintindihan din natin na yung gradualist, pa-decente, pa-reform, it's not gonna get us anywhere. So, I always say, who knows? Maybe Duterte's will be back in 2028, maybe not, right? But if mahina ka, kung wala kang gagawin, if you don't hold the line, if you're not willing to fight the good fight, right? If you're not willing to get down and bardagulan, yes, babalik sila, and it's gonna be even worse than what we had in the past. But let's say there's an alternative situation. Hindi sila babalik. Yes, a part of me feels Sara will not become a president. But sabihin natin hindi mangyayari yan for a combination of reasons, which we can explain. But if the next president we're gonna have is the same kind of pa-cute and yung mga diffident, mga ganon leader, and then makita mo na sa international meetings, nandun lang sa gilid, or nakikismile-smile lang, walang ginagawang decisive, nice lang sa lahat, instead of holding the line, not calling out nonsense. Alam mo, meron mga tao na problematic sa kanyang staff or kanyang kabinete, pero walang sinasabi dahil let's just be mabait, let's just be pragmatic, diba? Yung ganyan. Then, sige, 2028, baka swerte tayo, but what happens afterwards? Right? So, what I'm saying also here, guys, is very simple. I think when it comes to leadership, when it comes to thought leadership, but also political leadership, decisiveness is what people are looking for. Yung palaban are what people are looking for. Because people understand, hindi na sapat yung pakit lang, reformist lang, papyaw lang, go lang. So we can have a long debate about anong saysay ng itong mga drama na nangyari between Torre and BASTE. For me, there's a bigger lesson out of that. And the bigger lesson, guys, out there is kailangan na natin mag-level up. If we want to avoid, if we want to prevent the worst from coming back, if you want to prevent people from becoming disillusioned na naman down the road dahil wala naman pagbabago nangyari, as early as now, guys, we have to nurture a certain kind of political culture. And that political culture should be, we should support, we should nurture, we should empower yung mga leaders na may puso, may palaban na spirit, and people are willing to take risks. Because let's be honest, if you're risk averse, good luck sa atin. You might, actually, being risk averse, you might end up as a president. And then what? Okay, naging presidente ka ngayon, so what? Wala ka naman nagawang masyado dahil takot ka galawin na to, galawin yan, takot ka gawin yan, because, baka ito, baka yan. See? So, if you're too risk averse, if you're not decisive, even if you're successful politically, meaning you become president, you don't actually accomplish much. I'd rather have a president who actually doesn't have high approval ratings, pisses off a lot of people, but get things done because willing siya to take a risk. And sometimes taking that risk is very, very important because sometimes that's the difference between you becoming a colony of another country or not, you making the right reforms para you become an investment destination or a fourth world country, or you becoming actually a country that has a chance, a shot at becoming a real democracy or not. So, what we need are risk-taking people, and that's what I'm saying. I really appreciate what General Torre is doing because he's taking a lot of risk by doing it. What if pumayag talaga? What if tuloy talaga ang boxing na yan? I think it goes wild. It goes crazy. He's taking a risk. But he's willing to take a risk because he knows he's doing the right thing and he's willing to stand by its consequences. Yun ang mga klaseng leadership na meron tayo. So this is not about General Torre per se. I see more as a manifestation of the kind of leadership na kailangan natin at mga klaseng leader na hinahanap ng tao. Real talk po ang kailangan ng tao at real leaders ang kailangan ng tao. And that's why I hope people don't take it against us when I say, bakit ito hindi ginawa, bakit masyadong ganito, masyadong ganyan. It's because we can do better. We can do better. When I talk about the virtues of what Riza Hontiveros represents, it's not because it's about Riza Hontiveros per se. Of course, she's also not perfect. She's not, but at least she shows that if you're willing to fight and fight the good fight, actually you can achieve a lot. And look at her, minority siya, but ang dami niyang na-achieve as a senator because she was willing to fight the fight, right? So this is what I'm talking about. This is the type of leadership we need in the 21st century. On that note, maraming salamat. Unless may mga update tayo, otherwise gagawin natin live from Rizal Memorial ang event na yan. But I think, by the way, also on the 27th, there'll also be takbo para sa West Philippines. I posted a video about that. So if you want to join that, why not? Jogging sa umaga and then tuloy naman manood naman ng boxing. You can have a very fruitful weekend. On that note, maraming salamat. God bless and thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, guys, sa lahat ng mga suporta nyo. Latest data, we're top 5 sources of political news. Mga kasabay natin is the Daily ng New York Times, the BBC, 24 Oras. So, top 5 news sources tayo sa Pilipinas. And of course, number 1 sa political podcasting. So, thank you so much again, guys, for all the support and love you have been giving us throughout the years. At all I want to say is that hindi nasasayang inyong effort and your faith in us because we try our best in our own little way to also walk the walk and walk the talk, right? Yes, we do the talk obviously, but many people can do that. But it's walking the talk, right? And walking the walk. Yun yung po yung kailangan natin. And that's the kind of leadership that we want. So thank you so much again sa lahat ng mga trolls na comment dyan. Thank you for pushing up na naman yung ating engagement and keeping us number 1, the most amazing. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon. God bless. Ay, wait lang, block ko lang tong isa tang troll. Baka kumita pa. Thank you so much.